All right, guys, everybody has asked for it. You're now getting it. I have your guy, Tristan Tate. How you doing, my man?
I'm always doing wonderful. Enjoying Dubai, having some fun here. Living the way I live.
Yep, too much fun. We've had too much fun.
No such thing.
No such thing. So, today there was a couple points I wanted to cover with you. The first one is a big beef that I actually get in my comments when I talk about being a gentleman.
Okay.
So I want to start this whole thing off with clarifying, because I'll get messages, bro, and they'll be like, you hang out with Tates, you ought to know that opening doors means you're a simp. And I'm like, bro, you have no idea. So I just want you to speak to gentleman game when it comes to frame and how you run your day-to-day operations.
Well, first of all, you have to clarify what a simp is and what simping is. Being nice isn't simping. To me, I have a very unique description of what simping is. I think it's an unfair exchange of value between a man and a woman, usually coming from a man towards a woman. So giving a woman a bunch of free money, giving a woman a bunch of Instagram likes, giving a woman a bunch of Instagram comments, that is simping if she's not doing it back to you. I mean, you'll see me comment, you look beautiful on a girl's Instagram picture, and she'll reply underneath it, I miss you, Tristan. Yeah. That's not simping. That is a fair exchange of value.
Right.
Where I'm publicly telling people, I've been there. That's one of mine.
Yeah.
And I get the validation in return. I don't think there's anything wrong if you were just some guy waiting at the entrance to a restaurant for any woman to walk past and holding the door open in the hope of getting some phone number or something. That really is simping.
Yeah.
But no, it's an exchange of value, and being a gentleman is very, very important. There doesn't have to be a winner. When you're going on a date with a woman and you're looking to sleep with her and she's looking to have a good time, you could both go home happy. Right. You really can. You don't have to feel like you defeated her somehow or you tricked her somehow, and she doesn't need to feel like she used you somehow.
Right.
You can have a wonderful evening. You're nice to her. You open the car doors. Right. You buy her a bouquet of flowers. You have dinner. You make love. You go home. She's happy. You're happy. Then you can delete her phone number if you want, but
yeehaw.
Doesn't need to be a winner.
But and it's super important that I think that you say that and people hear you say this, because I think a lot of guys think that opening doors, buying dinner, grabbing a flower, and I don't grab a lot of flowers, and I haven't seen you grab a lot of flowers, but dinner, sending an Uber, opening doors, being polite, guiding her to the table, opening a chair, doing those type things. I've seen you do quite a bit, and it doesn't seem to be broken to me, cowboy. So,
well, essentially, do you want her to have a good time and do you want her to like you? I think it's because of the business that I worked in. People assume that, me or my brother are very rude to women or very mean to women, because men can't wrap their head around the fact that there are some men out there who just have beautiful women who want to have sex with them or want to work for them or want to get naked on webcam in their house and make them a bunch of money. Men can't work it out in their mind. So they think I must be doing something mean. I must be tricking them, beating them, getting them addicted to drugs, screaming at them, rude to them. But that's 0% who I am. It's just people who don't understand the frame of being a top tier guy. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with being nice. If you're a fat loser at work and you're buying flowers for all your coworkers and opening doors there, all right, you're simping. Yeah. Unfair exchange of value. Believe me, I get more value by the end of the night than she gets from me, because I get her naked in my bed.
Right.
I'm perfectly happy to open the door. It's wonderful. It's beautiful. I want her to have a good time. I want her to want to come home with me.
And I think we'd all agree, I'll open the hell out of some doors for that.
Oh, absolutely.
No problem. No problem.
No problem.
And the big, strong, tough Andrew Tate. Same way, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Why would he not open doors?
And he's absolutely charming. He's nice and he smiles and he'll pick up a tab or whatever. And I think that some guys, a lot of guys actually in the space, have an unhealthy idea of what simping versus being a gentleman is, and the value of taking the masculine role as a gentleman as opposed to looking insecure by not.
I think they see guys like me or you or Andrew as bad guys because they have nothing to give a woman but loyalty. So they'll look at guys who have multiple women like me and they'll think Tristan's a bad guy. Women like bad guys. And they do. They like top tier guys, and top tier guys tend to like having more than one woman. But women don't like rude guys. There's no universal. I mean, I could probably pull it off if I wanted to, but I wouldn't go on a date and not say much, sit on my phone, be rude, walk in front of her, make her split the check, and expect her to come home and make love at the end of the night. No. That certainly is going to hinder my chances. And that's the whole point of going on a date. So it's just a lack of understanding of what it's like to be a top tier male. So anytime anyone says any stupid comment like that to you, oh, the Tates wouldn't open doors, or why are you opening dours, that's simping, that guy doesn't get laid. Right. You know he doesn't.
Oh, no.
And look, he holds doors open, though.
Yeah. What's funny to me is, like, I already know these things, right?
Yeah.
So if I get a message and somebody's like, well, I thought you hung out with the Tates, don't you know better? I'm like, dude, you have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And so that was, to me, I'm like, okay, if me and Tristan are going to do this, let's clarify this. Because I think there's a lot of young guys that haven't really got deep into dating. They might go in with all the wrong impression and blow a girl out immediately when it really wasn't that necessary. So if we're trying to be helpful, I think clearing that up is super important.
Yeah. And another point you touched on that we really should clear up is sending an Uber, paying for a taxi, paying for dinner. That's just the way that gender roles have been for as long as dating has been around.
Right.
I mean, when I was young and flat broke, because people will say, oh, you pay for the Ubers, or maybe I'll even get a girl a flight ticket to come to Bucharest, to come to my house and see me. And people will say, that's simping. I'm like, well, for the price of the flight ticket, you don't know what I'm getting. Right. But when I was young and broke, there was obviously no gold digging involved. I didn't have, I slept on a mattress on the floor. But if a girl was coming around to see me at night, I'd pay for her taxi. My last 5, 6, 7 pounds. Because, it's £7 and I get 8 hours of entertainment. Right. So, again, it's a very fair exchange of value. And I think that if you want to act tough and, hold frame and ask a girl to split a bill or, make a girl pay for her own taxi and don't even offer, if she does go to bed with you, she's a low-quality woman. She's just some dickhead hoe who would do anything for dick. Right. And, some guys may get laid that way, but you certainly wouldn't with the quality of women that I hang out with.
I would actually even go as far as say if you ask a girl to split a bill with you, you're actually giving up ground that you could have taken as masculine frame.
Yeah. I would agree. And where I'm from in Eastern Europe, if a girl offers to split the bill, which they don't, but if a girl does offer to split the bill, it means I see you as my friend. This is not a date. Right. So if a woman ever says, hey, can I pay for half the drinks, that means, Tristan, I'm not interested. I only see you as a friend.
It's a defense mechanism, I'd say. So
you're doing it to yourself. Yeah. Oh, we're just friends. That's what you're trying to signal.
You're putting yourself in the friend zone.
By telling her to split the bill with you, which is stupid. It's very stupid. And let's be honest, not a lot of guys go to the places I go. What's splitting the bill? $30, $40? Right. And you're seriously going to try and impress me with this bullshit? I made her split the bill. Yeah, I guarantee you didn't do anything else with her that night.
Right. I know what you didn't split.
Exactly. And if you did, then you
probably ain't worth keeping.
Yeah, you probably just didn't even need to buy her dinner. You probably could have done a McDonald's drive-through and got your dick sucked in the car. Yeah, and it would have worked just as well.
You could have Netflixed that, homeboy. All right, good. So I think we both agree that being a gentleman in the right frame is really important. But I've also seen you be a gentleman when it's time to let a girl go, like out the door. And I think that's super important. And what I like so much about the thought process behind doing that, and when I do that, I've seen you do that, is that if you do it like a gentleman, you kind of live in her dreams a bit. You're kind of FDBing from a place where she can't even be mad at you. Now all she can do is think about how kind you were to her and the gentleman that you were. Can you speak to that at all?
Well, there are two different circumstances you're talking about. One, if she stays the night with you and you're letting her go in the morning. And two, if she's not going to have sex with you. And you could tell, and she's not going to spend the night with you, and you say, you know what, let me put you in the taxi, walk her to the car, open the door, let her go. What people need to understand is 90% of the time, or 99% of the time, women have decided whether they're going to have sex with you before the date. They really have.
Whether their legs are shaved.
Exactly, exactly. So you spoke to her, she finds you charming. She'll think, you know what, there's a possibility I'm going to fuck this guy tonight. She'll put on her best lingerie, like she said, shave your legs, get ready. And if she's got ready, you have a very, very good chance of having sex. But there are some times where I've been talking to a girl for maybe a month, and we have our second date or first date. And I'm like, this one's in the bag. And it gets to 11 o'clock, and she's like, you know what, I'm going to have to get up early tomorrow. I should really get a taxi home. I'm the least pushy man. There's nothing attractive about being pushy, because you don't understand her. Maybe she's on her period. And she doesn't want to have sex with you. Maybe it's vulgar to a lot of guys listening, or you don't want to hear, but maybe she's on her period. It's that time of the month, and she thinks, you know what, I'd love to fuck Tristan, but I'm just not going to do that tonight in his house. I'd be embarrassed. I'd be ashamed. Me being pushy is just going to undo the month of hard work that I've done being charming and being nice and being kind, because I'm not getting laid. So first circumstance, you don't go home with her. Yeah, always be a gentleman.
Right.
Don't worry, let me get you a taxi home. Because why would you burn the hard work you've done and not bother setting up a second date? But it's not just that. I would just rather be nice.
Right. It's so much easier that way, and it's so much natural that way. And I think if you push it and it's ever unnatural, it doesn't work. Now, on top of that, I'd like to hear more about how you're a gentleman when you actually break up with a woman. because that's what I'm really getting at behind the question of how you kind of live in her dreams a little bit. Because if you go out like a gentleman, I'm really big on never showing a woman emotion.
Yeah.
I feel like if you show a woman emotion, that she will look at you in a weaker way.
Yeah.
So I've seen you break up with a girl in person.
You've seen me break up with a few.
Yeah, so one or two. I've seen a couple of Tristan's breakups live. They're not boring. Fireworks are out.
Yeah.
But speaking on being a gentleman, why it's important to be a gentleman on the light side of it, and then the dark side of it when you have to either control a frame, be firm, or just flat out let a girl go. What can you say to that?
Well, most of the time, I'm always running multiple women at the same time. And, I've broken up with main chicks, and they can be messy, complicated situations. But a lot of the time, when I break up with a girl who I've been seeing for a few weeks, a few months, good girls who've been loyal to me, they are my girlfriend. I've got plenty, but they essentially, for all intents and purposes, are my girlfriend. I don't see the reason to burn bridges, one. Two, to create a negative reputation for myself, especially in the city I live in. Two. Three, to upset people any more than necessary, because if you call a woman every name you want to call her and spit in her face, she's going to forget about you within a day. She's going to be like, you know what, all that nice time I spent with Tristan, he showed his true colors tonight. Right. That's who he really is.
Right. He was faking.
Yeah. You're going to make that lasting bad impression. Right. I always like to leave with a lasting good impression. And also, you have to understand that when you want to be a playboy in a certain city, so I live in Bucharest, Romania, girls will ask girls who slept with me, been with me, spent time with me, they go, what's Tristan like? Oh, he's such a nice guy, had such a good time with him. He just, maybe wasn't ready for something serious.
Right. He was a bit of a cheater, but he was always wonderful.
Exactly. What they won't say is,
he's psycho.
Yeah, exactly. He's a psycho. He threw me out the house. Because there's no advantage to doing that. Now, I live in Eastern Europe, but especially in the Western world, you throw a girl at your house and upset her too much, she might just Me Too your ass. Right. So all these tough guys out there who want to treat women bad, I would advise against it in every single way. Right. And once again, there's not a single. Okay, there are, but there aren't many of my exes that I couldn't get back with if I tried.
Right.
And I see them
boomerang. They do come back.
And I see them watch my Instagram stories. And as you increase your value and status and influence as a man, and their value, status, and influence goes down as a woman,
right?
They watch you, and I'm gonna digress. There is a way to get revenge on women. Every time I've heard anyone say, "Oh, my ex broke up with me. She cheated on me. I need revenge. I need revenge." That's sick-minded. That's incel level shit. The only kind of revenge that you can get on a woman is this:
ever
say goodbye politely, keep working hard, increase your value as a man. Wait 3 years, 4 years, 6 years, 11 years, and you know this story, the 11-year story. And wait till you are the man, and she's just now some chick, 28, 29, and she's like, Tristan, it should have always been you. Then you can either tell her no or break her heart again. Then you win. That's the only way to get revenge. You got to keep working on yourself and keep working on your status.
It truly is.
And you've seen me pull that one.
I have seen you pull that one. I've pulled that one myself a bit. And, there's probably not a better feeling in the world than that.
No, there isn't.
And not that I was ever mad at the girl. It's just a reflection of what you're able to become as a person.
Absolutely.
And you might have started off with that lady feeling like, you guys were equal, or in some way that y'all had something special, and you broke apart, and maybe that hurt, maybe it didn't. But to come full circle and to have her come back around and it be completely lopsided from a value perspective is not fulfilling so much because it's hurting the girl, because I don't hate women at all, and we should talk about that. But really just because of what you did as a person.
It's self-vindication. The only thing I can liken it to is taking a bad whooping in a kickboxing match and coming back and beating the same guy a year later or 2 years later. It's like, I've become much better than you.
I'm better.
I'm now better at this than you are.
Exactly.
So enjoy defeat.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's cool.
Let's talk about that for a second, man, because I feel like there's a world full of guys that are either giving up, or maybe even some guys in the red pill space that are angry. I have to say, with all my heart, I have zero hard feelings towards women at all.
No, same.
Zero. I am well aware of nature, but at the same time, I feel like if you really understand nature and you do what you have to do, you can navigate through that. And I'll quote you here: you can make women the spice of life, or the sprinkling on top of a life that you've already built. So what is your thought process in regards to maybe the nature of women, modern women, how you navigate that in your mind to make sure that you never get angry with the situation? Because I know that you don't.
Yeah.
What is your thought process and framework inside your own head around that?
Well, I think a lot of it has to come down with, success with women is much like success in business or success in sports. It's down to you. It's personal accountability. And that's what a lot of guys want to throw out the window these days. And what they want to do is they want to blame women.
Right.
It's like failing in every business you've ever attempted and failing to make money, and then blaming
industry.
Blaming capitalism. Or failing in every boxing match or every American football game and NFL game you've ever played, and blaming the referees or blaming the rules. No, it's personal accountability and it's personal responsibility. And when you see guys out there who say, like, all women are garbage, I believe them. Because I believe all the women they get to meet are garbage.
Right.
Because they're bottom feeders. They're low-tier men, and they're attracting low-tier women. And low-tier people of all sorts attract each other. Low-tier men have low-tier male friends. They get low-tier girlfriends. And I believe the women they meet are garbage.
Right.
They don't get to operate at my level, and they don't get to see how wonderful women truly are.
Right.
Because I'm picking the fruit at the top of the tree.
Right.
So I think a lot of these guys need to really, really look in the mirror, as I do.
Right.
And sometimes I look at myself and think, Tristan, okay, you're a little out of shape. Tristan, okay, you've been sleeping too much, you've been partying too hard, you got bags under your eyes, you're letting yourself go a bit, and you have to keep yourself in check. You have to stay at the very top, and if you don't stay at your very top, you're not competitive anymore. Every single species on the whole planet is exactly the same. Every single female of every single species looks at the most competitive males and thinks, those are the ones I want to have my children. And women, human women, are exactly the same. So if you're not having the success with women that you want, don't go out there trying to blame women, and don't go out there trying to change women. Right. There are these big movements.
They're not
trying
to change.
Yeah, they're trying to change women, change the nature of humanity.
I'd like to add something to what you're saying there, because I tell guys this all the time. They're like, oh, women are shit, women are shit. I truly believe that I get the best version of every woman that I come in contact with.
Yes.
And it is a direct result of everything you just said. So you could take woman A and put her with man A, and then put her with man B, and let's say you are man B. I believe that Tristan or myself will get a better version of that woman A than that man 100%. Will get ever. And a lot of that, and fucking all of that, has to do with who you become as a person and as a man. You can take the same woman and get a completely different woman based off of who you are.
Yeah.
So you see that.
No, you nailed it. You absolutely nailed it. And I know it. For example, without even getting vulgar, there are things I'll do in the bedroom with women. They'll say, oh, I was with my ex 3 years. I never let him do that.
Right.
I'm like, well, well, this is our third date, so unlucky for him.
Yeah.
But he wasn't the best version of the man that she wanted. I obviously fit the archetype of what she wants so much that she's willing to do, she's willing to do everything for me.
Right.
And you could bring out. It's about bringing out the best in people. But friends are the same. I believe that even with friends, even with me and you, I think we bring out the best versions of each other.
Absolutely.
You wake up, you're not training. I'll call your names.
Right.
We'll go to the gym together. You have to bring out the best version of each other. And if you're a loser, your woman's going to treat you like a loser. Right. She's not going to respect you.
You were looking for me this morning. This morning, I'm sitting downstairs drinking coffee, and I hear you from the top of the staircase, Justin. And I'm like, I'm up, because we had planned to go train this morning. So
8 o'clock in the morning.
Yep. And you were yelling at, and all I could do was smile. And I'm like, I got you, bitch. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But there's something else I want to go to on this, because a lot of guys will look at you and say, okay, well, he's 6'4", handsome as fuck, good beard, rich. His brother's Andrew, but I actually have a lot to say about that, because there's another version of you that either lives in Luton or lives in the States that's fat as fuck on the back of a garbage truck or working in some kind of facility.
Or skinny as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what do you say about the guys that think they have no hope and give up? Because I'm a firm believer. Okay, maybe you're not Tristan Tate. Fine. Maybe you're not 6'3", but for God's sakes, man, you're probably somewhere that's in a good spot. And I would much rather live in Indiana and be the king of my town and have like 3 or 4 girlfriends that maybe are 7 or 8s than completely check out the game completely. And I'd love to hear what you have to say about that as well.
Well, like you said, I mean, the 6'4" thing, fine. I would have been tall regardless.
Right.
I would have been 6'4". But if I was a really skinny dude who, had no money, sat at home playing the Xbox, I'd have no receipts on social media, no one would know who I was. I'd probably have a patchy beard because of low testosterone because I've never done any training in my life. That guy's not getting laid. 6'4" or no 6'4". And what people don't want to hear is that to become Tristan Tate was a slow process of hard work that took me 15 years. And I'm still working on myself. I think the Tristan Tate in 3 or 4 years is going to be a much better version of who I am now.
Right.
And what a lot of people want to do is, blame their circumstances, but they don't understand that. I mean, height aside, you could change every circumstance about you. You could change how handsome you are. You could change how fit you are, how strong you are, how rich you are, how smart you are. I'll talk to women about intellectual things and books I've read and history and so I love this stuff.
Yeah.
But why do I know all that? I couldn't afford a university education. I educated myself. So a lot of the things women like about me, my height aside, I created for myself, and I would much rather have everything else. So you dudes who are out there who are 5'8", why aren't you jacked and smart and rich and driving a fucking Lamborghini, and charming and funny, and why aren't you?
Right.
But you'll have none of those things, and you'll be like, oh yeah, Tristan, well you're 6'4", as though everything else wasn't my own creation, wasn't my own hard work, because it was.
Right. When it comes to becoming the best version of yourself, and the thought of, let's say you're 5'10", you live in Indiana. You have less than 250,000 people in your little town. There's got to be 3 women. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's gotta be. A Louisiana 9, bro. Yeah. you know what I'm saying? Which is an inside joke. Yeah. But look, bro, if it's brown, it's down, which is another inside joke. Any hunter would get that. But the thing is like, I don't think that you would, if you were from a town like that, and you didn't have some other expectations, you could be more than happy living that life, being the man in your town. You've maximized everything about you. You don't have to live in Miami, per se, to really have a good life, to really have a rotation of women that you care about, which is something that you're obviously really, really good at. And the reason I think you're good at that, and that's kind of what I'm leading to with this, is that those women stay with you, to be completely frank, in my opinion, because they would have one hell of a fucking time replacing you.
A lot of the time, I think so. But you're forgetting something with your story about what if I lived in this small town? What if?
Right.
I lived in a tiny ass town.
Right.
Well, it wasn't tiny, but it was horrible. And there's
Right.
very few hot women in Luton, England. And I lived on a council estate, and I was flat broke.
Right.
And what did I do? I was at the gym 5 hours a day. Started winning kickboxing fights. Word around town got out that I was on my way up. Started doing well. I had pretty girlfriends way before. I wasn't a millionaire till I was 28 years old. Yep. I've had pretty girlfriends since I was 17, 18, 19. Because I've always been hardworking and on my way up. And I didn't live in Bucharest or Dubai or London.
No supercars.
Or these wonderful cities with all the women. I lived in a horrible little town, but there were some beautiful, nice women who lived in that town.
Right.
And I found them.
Right.
I found them before Instagram, before Tinder, before dating apps. I found them. So that's that story you're saying. Like, what if? I literally lived that.
Yeah,
that was me.
I lived that in Louisiana. And we were just talking about that earlier. And this is no disrespect to anybody that talks about finish line or anything like that, but we were joking. We said, fuck the finish line.
Yeah.
Because I've been running over them the whole time.
Before I started the race.
Yeah.
I was 18. I was working at McDonald's drive-thru.
Yeah.
And I had some girls who were fire. And I was 18 years old. They were 18, 19 too. I had the best girls of my age in my town. And I hadn't even worked out which race I wanted to run yet.
Yeah.
So they weren't waiting at the finish line for me.
No.
But like you said, I mean, there is some truth in the statement in the fact that, they backed a good horse.
Right.
They were certainly backing a good horse.
Yeah. And that's what we came to, is like, they might not all be waiting at the finish line, because you don't have to wait until you get to the finish line, because I don't think I've had a drought since I started.
No.
But I do think fitness has a lot to do with that.
Of course it
and
does.
staying big and strong and confident and things like that. There are intangibles that'll get you there before maybe the money comes in.
Oh, absolutely.
And maybe before you get to the big city.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was a big part of it. I assume that your kickboxing had a huge part of that as well.
Well, yeah. I think it's physical presence. When you walk in the room, do people look?
Right.
Now I'm wearing a $10,000 suit and a $100,000 watch.
Right.
But a lot of people don't notice that right away. You know,
Most people don't have the taste to notice it.
Exactly. So I could walk into any town any bar in any town in the world dressed in modest clothing,
Sweatpants.
Yeah.
Because we do it all the time. Me and you are together. We've almost been together for another month this time.
Dressed
Dude.
in
Sweats,
t-shirts.
sweats.
Right.
You know,
and we walk in and people look. Look. Physical presence is a real thing. It really is, and you can work on that. And it's not just
being tall.
Being tall.
It's not only being
how you
tall.
carry yourself, how you're sitting, how you're walking, how you introduce yourself, how you shake people's hands, how you order your drink at the bar.
Yep, eye contact. Being kind to people is a crazy good sign because if you're secure enough with yourself to be kind to waiters and staff
Yes.
and bartenders, I truly believe it tells people things, especially when they fuck up.
Let me tell you a good story about being kind to waiters and bartenders, especially in the city that you live in. It's an investment.
Yeah.
It's an investment to throw money around. I do it here in Dubai because I spend a lot of time here. I certainly do it in Bucharest. I was on a date with a Romanian celebrity. I'm not going to name drop her here, but famous girl, a few million followers on Instagram, etc. And the lights had gone out in the garden of one of the fanciest restaurants in town. So obviously being one of the fanciest restaurants in town, they put a bunch of candles on every table. So I was sitting there as the waiter was pouring our champagne. I said to the girl, I said, you know what, I specially organized this. I called my friends at the electricity company. I had them shut down the power grid just so we could have candles tonight. And she goes, hi, all right, Tristan, yeah, where's my flowers? As a blasé comment, because she knew I was joking.
Yeah.
She knew I was bullshitting. The waiter, good friend of mine, had been pouring the champagne, overheard this. No joke. 2 minutes later, he comes over with the biggest bouquet of flowers. He must have taken from behind the restaurant. Mr. Tate, here are the flowers you ordered. And I sat there, straight face, ice cold, sip my champagne. 10 minutes later, I was like, "You have to excuse me." I get up. I was just like, "My man!" I was like, "No way! Did you just do that?" So, and why? Why? Because I'm rude to waiters? Because I didn't get to know his name?
Right.
I've been eating at that restaurant for 2 years before that. I throw money around. I tip well. He knew exactly who I was. So, being kind to people pays dividends. Not only is it, do women notice it, because they really do.
Yeah.
But, the staff notice it, and they treat you better. And being treated with respect around women is a huge turn-on for women. Mr. Tate, how are you? Let me just clear this parking spot. Sorry, we have no tables. Let me just put one out for you.
Right.
That's a huge turn-on for women. And, you get that respect by being kind.
And that's built over time and rapport, Would you say it's a strategy for you to hit certain spots in your town repeatedly enough so you get the opportunity to create that rapport?
Yes, but it goes beyond just trying to get women. It really does go beyond that because, you're only going to be there for a day or a weekend or, a week. But certainly in your hometown and the places you hang out the most, do it.
Right. I love it. Okay. I've been waiting for this one. So
I don't know what you're going to say, by the way. We were sitting downstairs. Tristan, you got a suit on? Yeah, all right, we're going upstairs to film the podcast.
Yeah.
So
You know what?
I was almost tricked into this, but it's fine. I'm having a good time. We'd only be having the same conversation anyway off camera. So.
Yeah, it's true. We, a lot of our friendship is making fun of each other and saying things that we cannot say on YouTube.
Yeah.
So
we would get banned.
In all fairness, I just got my channel started, so I'm not trying to lose it.
Nope.
So we have me, you, and Andrew mostly.
Okay.
Out of our group of friends, the Aussies lean towards a gentleman by the name of Slim Dusty, but there is some affinity for a man named George Strait
George Strait
in our group. And
your viewers would know that. My viewers wouldn't.
Yeah, they wouldn't. But what I want to cover is what I believe is the greatest country music song of all time. And
we're doing this right
yes,
now.
we are going to do
All
it.
right,
we are going to do it because I'll tell you why. I'll tell everybody why we're going to do it. Because when I met Tristan, he didn't really know who George Strait was. And I sent him and Andrew a song, and I said, listen, guys, this is the best leaving a woman, what Andrew would call an FDB song of all time.
It's called a breakup song.
It's a breakup song And Tristan listened to it, and after about, I'd say a few weeks, he said, he's like, I just wish I was a rodeo man, or I think I would have been a rodeo. I said, Tristan, you are a rodeo man. And so I just want to talk about the progression of how you came to love the song, why Andrew walks through the hall singing it, and why it is truly the best country music song of all time.
Well, you know what? Now I'm thinking about it. Everything that we've been talking about, leaving women with dignity, not screaming, not shouting, leaving a good impression, leaving something for them to talk about, everything that we've just covered is summed up in the song. So I don't know how you want to go. You want to go through this?
So we'll just go through some of the words. So
the song's essentially about
a rodeo man. He's been on the road, which is the point in the message of the song. Is like every man has his rodeo. You had kickboxing. You were all over the place, and you would call the.
You know what I do?
Yeah. And I was chasing steel across America. And trying to put buildings up everywhere and trying to build my business. And the first line of the song is, the telephone rang 8:45. She heard his voice on the other end of the line. She wondered what was wrong this time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the second line is...
remember, this is set in 1996.
It's 1996.
Before the iPhone.
Yeah. You know, it's cold out here and I'm all alone. I didn't make the short go again. Now I'm coming home. I know I've been away too long.
Yeah.
And long story short, she said, don't bother coming home. By the time you get here, I'll be long gone. There's somebody new. And he sure ain't no rodeo man.
I can't sing. I'm not singing.
And he says, and this is the line.
This is the line.
This is the breakup line.
So keep in mind, he's in love with this woman. He's missed her. He's been at his rodeo. He's just been saying that he's coming home now.
Yeah.
The rodeo didn't go too well. Can't wait to come home. And she says, there's somebody new. Don't bother coming home.
Yep.
His line is, well, I'm sorry it's come down to this. There's so much about you that I'm going to miss. But it's okay, baby. If I hurry, I can still make Cheyenne.
Boom.
Cheyenne is the capital of Wyoming, a famous rodeo town. So he's just off to another rodeo.
Yep.
2 lines and that is it. Who knows how long he's been with this woman? 5 years, 6 years, a long time?
Yeah.
Sounds like he loves her.
Yep, he does. And Andrew and you had a conversation about this song the other day.
Yeah.
And Andrew made a solid point, and I'll just let you kind of re-quote what Andrew said about the song.
Yeah, well, I thought it was kind of cool how before he, there's going to be so many comments underneath this song now saying Jay Waller sent me here. It's going to happen.
Yeah. You're welcome, George.
Yeah, he needs our...
like, what the fuck?
He needs our help.
With his 50 number one hits.
But yeah, essentially, I was saying, it's pretty cool how, he's telling this woman he loves her, etc. But when he hangs up the phone, when he walks away, it seems he doesn't care. And it's like, no, he cares. He cares. He loves this woman. Right. And he really does. Because I've been there.
Right.
But when you know it's time to say goodbye, and you have to walk away, you walk away like a man.
Yep.
You keep your head held high.
Yep.
You leave that phone dangling off the hook.
He left that phone dangling off the hook. He slowly turned around and gave it one last look. And what'd he do?
Walked away.
Just walked away.
Beautiful song.
Yeah, and you know what? And he went out like a gentleman.
Yeah. But it encapsulates a lot of things about the way I conduct myself. And now I will literally, instead of saying something like, I don't remember what I used to say before,
right.
But it's something along the lines of, I'm always going to remember you. It's a tragedy that blah 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 blah.
Right.
And then nice and politely,
right.
I'd be cool with it. Yeah. But now I literally type, I'm sorry it's come down to this. There's so much about you that I'm going to miss. Just so I can screenshot it and send you the screenshot.
And he does. I get 3 a week from him.
Well, I do about 3 breakups a week, it's a good number. Healthy numbers.
I'll get a message from him, and it'll be a screenshot of either a girl sending a voice memo to him that I can't hear, or she'll be saying something in all caps, let's just say. And he'll say, without an exclamation point, nothing. I'm sorry it's come down to this. There's so much about you that I'm going to miss. And then he just sends him a pin of Cheyenne, Wyoming.
A tag location of Cheyenne, Wyoming.
And so
they don't understand that part.
They don't get it.
But I get it.
Now, I will say that girls in my hometown get it.
Well, you know what, though? Actually, yesterday, I went through a breakup. You feel bad for me? Yeah.
I do. Why?
That girl got too drunk and annoyed me when she was in the house with you and Sterling.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but here's the thing. I've been hanging out with her for the last little while. So she's heard me sing the song.
Yeah.
I've explained the song.
Yeah.
She knows about the song.
Yeah.
She's from Ukraine, and she got those words. So she replied with a laughing face, but she also knew that was it.
Yeah.
She knew I was serious. And I will never send another message after those words.
Yeah.
And that's my new. So ladies out there, if I ever send you this message, I'm sorry it's over.
Yeah, sorry it's come down to this.
Yeah. I will miss you.
Guys, definitely go check out Still Make Cheyenne. If you listen to it 4 or 5 times, you'll really get to see the message behind it. And I do think it is the best way to go out like a gentleman. I also think that if you do care about the woman at all, is your best shot at her coming back.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Don't burn your bridges. Yeah. And it's advice I give to young men all the time. Young men are like, especially when... I mean, your main chick's different. I guess you can, emotion could stir up when it's a girl you really love. But there'll be girls who a guy's just banging. And she'll be like, oh, well, I found out she has another guy. I'm like, she's some hoe you're banging,
Right.
bro. Hoes are collective property almost.
Right.
I hate when people, and this is a very quick bit of advice for the young men out there. I hate when people say, "Oh, I got my main chick, I got 2 side chicks." No, no.
We talked about
yeah,
this.
a side chick is as much in love with you and loyal to you as any main chick. Right. She is your girlfriend. She wouldn't look at another man. She's loyal to you. She sends you good night messages every single night and writes you love letters and cooks you meals. That's what a side chick is. Most people have hoes, and hoes. The numbers don't add up if every dude had 25 hoes. Hoes are collective property. Most hoes who you're banging have other guys who they go see sometimes. You don't have side chicks. I've got a nice collection of side chicks. I got my main chick, and I've got hoes. But I know who's who. I know who's who. But don't ever waste emotion on a hoe, guys. She upsets you. She's been seeing some other dudes. She's at some party in some club. You just say, you know what? I'm sorry it's come down to this.
There's so many wrangles that you're gonna miss.
No, but you can hit him with, you know what? I didn't know you were that type of girl. You're partying in the club. I don't see this going anywhere. Goodbye. You don't have to literally use the song lyrics. You could politely say something like that, and that's been my approach for years. Because when you want to wrangle and you want 50 girls at the table, you're gonna call all your old hoes, and all my hoes, all my ex hoes, love me. Right. It's the ex girlfriends who hate me.
Right. Yeah, but, because it burns. It burns.
Yeah.
But you know what you just said? I didn't plan on going this route, but I do think it's very, very important. And my goal is to be as helpful as I possibly can be. And I know that you are the same way. Absolutely. So to me, the difference between what happiness is the gap between expectation and reality.
Yeah.
And so for a young man, a lot of times I think that he doesn't have the consciousness to see that the girl is a hoe. Yes. So he lets his feelings get involved on accident. It's not so much that he's a pussy, it's that he doesn't know.
Yeah.
So can you kind of go through the things that you look for within a woman that allow you to identify her as hoe or a chick that you really want to put some kind of effort or care into?
Well, what you'll have to understand is I've got a radar for this. I've been doing this forever. And keep in mind, I've worked in the adult entertainment industry. I know which girls are up to no good and which girls aren't. I can look at a girl's tagged photos, her travel locations, who she's standing with.
But that's one of them. Yeah. That's definitely one of them. To talk about that, look at a girl's Instagram. Let's go through the thought of looking through a girl's Instagram, saying, okay, what'd she say her job is? She's a crypto trader. Crypto trader, my fucking ass. She's in 8 cities at a time. What is she doing?
Exactly. Well, I mean, I was at a hotel the other day here in Dubai, and a lovely girl approached me from Romania, and she goes, "Oh, hi, Tristan. I didn't know you were here." I was like, "Oh, hi, good to see you." I said, well, you know, nice to meet you. I got to speaking with her, and she told me that she was working in real estate, etc. And I said, so where do you live? She goes, oh, I live here at this hotel. I'm like, you live at the Ritz-Carlton, Dubai? She goes, yeah, I live here. Now, I know, because I'm sleeping there, that's $2,000 a night. Mm-hmm. So I know the cheapest room's $1,000 a night. Right. So I'm like, real estate must be paying well to pay you, what, $365,000 a year rent. Like, just...
It's a hell of a portfolio you have there, young lady.
Just say that your sugar daddy pays your rent and you hook on the side. Just tell me. Be straight with me. Because I ain't got a problem banging you. I ain't going to pay you any money. But I ain't got no problem taking you to bed. But when you talk to me like I'm stupid, that's a red flag. Right. So, you could tell from a woman's Instagram, from a woman's travel destinations. And this, we do teach all this inside the war room. Inside of the, people consult us about this kind of stuff all the time.
I'm glad you said that because, we're about to do a really big event in Colombia going over all of these different things from identifying a girl, getting your dating apps right, getting your Instagram right, text game, how to text. We're actually going to teach guys live how to text and to pull the wrangle itself.
Live demonstration. So if you want to be in Colombia, it's war room only, but message Justin and let's make it happen. I'll see you guys there.
Yeah, hit me up on Instagram, jwaller7, and we'll probably I'll kind of screen you a little bit and then get you over to the business account, but it's going to be one of the best events we've ever done. Yeah. And I think you'd be surprised at what the price is and what the value is. And then if you do it, obviously it would come with a War Room membership. The price is the summit plus the War Room, but I think you'd be surprised at what the value is behind it. So hit me up on Instagram, jwaller7, and of course follow the Talisman on Instagram as well. But anyway, back to the point.
Yeah, there was one last point I was going to make on this when it comes, and this is something I've said on another podcast, but we've got a virgin audience and a lot of people won't have seen me before here. When I mean I have a black belt, I have a real professional eye for who's up to no good and who isn't, who's a good girl and who isn't. I was speaking to a member of staff of yours recently, and I was dating some girl, and her WhatsApp profile picture was a picture of me and her kissing. And I was like, well, that's a very good sign because
good sign.
Yeah, there's lots of dudes on it. I mean, the breakup's already happened with her, but there's lots of dudes who are trying to WhatsApp her, etc. But it's a picture of me there kissing her in her WhatsApp inbox, and I know she only has one phone. Good sign. But one of the smallest micro details I can tell you is I once took a girl who's now my main chick. I once took her to a hotel, in another country. So it was one of her first trips abroad. And she opens up her suitcase. We're at a 5-star hotel, $2,000 a night.
Right.
I've decided to take her with me. I've known the girl a year.
Right.
Wonderful woman. Opens up her suitcase, and there's a big-ass hairdryer in her suitcase. I was like, a hairdryer in your suitcase? Now, for you guys listening at home, you'd be like, what does that mean? Right. Everybody knows that every 5-star hotel has a hairdryer attached in the bathroom. So this girl hasn't been hanging out ever in any luxury 5-star hotels. She's just the simple girl who she told me she was. Because what girl would pack a hairdryer? Everyone knows if every 5-star hotel has one.
She would know.
But she didn't know.
She didn't know.
Because that was her first time at a 5-star hotel. That was her first time on a luxury trip at a place like that. And it's the micro details that you have to look for. But that comes with experience.
You know, a big one that I look for, and I know that you actually look for too, because we've talked about it, is does she or can she travel at will? Because if she has a real job, she can't travel at will. And if she has a real job, that means that somebody's likely not funding her lifestyle.
Yes,
absolutely. You know, didn't you meet one of your main girls, or maybe a side girl? She works at a mall or something like that?
Yeah, and absolutely. She works, and I can't see her as much as I like. She works in a high fashion store for let's say Cartier. It's a store like that.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say the exact store because people might work out who it is. But yeah, she works at a Cartier store. She works 12, 13 hours a day. I'll be like, I want to see you tonight. No, I can't. No, I can't. I'm at work. Selfie. I've seen them all. I've seen where she works. Right. That's a very good sign as well. Right. You know, girls who are free all the time, they're always available.
Yeah.
You know, if you're always available and you're always free, you better be dressed in rags and wearing flat ass, cheap plimsoll style shoes. Because if you turn up in $4,000 shoes, but you're free all the time, I know what you're doing. Right. You know, so keep your eyes open, young guys. And when you get a girl like this and get her into bed, you know, you've profiled her, you know what she's about. Enjoy your time with her. Be polite. Be a gentleman. Send her on her way. You know, don't fall head over heels with girls like this, because those are the ones, as you said, the naive guys are going to break their hearts on.
Yeah. Guys will get fucked up over that too, and don't be surprised if a girl like that wants to even use you for dinner or whatever. Just make sure your expectation is right, and then your reality won't be far from it, and so you can't get too terribly upset because you kind of know what's coming. Absolutely. I think when you get hit by a punch you don't see coming is the ones that really hurt.
Absolutely.
You know, so just a little advice for you guys on how to set your expectations in the right way, because you know you can definitely get wrecked like that, and getting wrecked, man, it fucks your work up, fucks everything up.
It does.
You know,
and it's a losing battle. You can be tall, strong, fit, smart, the best guy in bed who she's ever had, but if some short, fat nerd is her payday, when push comes to shove, she isn't choosing you. If some dude's paying her $10,000 a month to suck his dick every couple of weeks, when you say, listen, I want you to be completely loyal to me, come live with me, it's just me and you, it doesn't matter who you are. You could be Justin Waller. But Justin Waller isn't paying her $10,000 a month, but, you know, Muhammad might be. So, you know, you're going to lose that battle nonetheless. Because these girls who are all about having guys finance their lifestyle, who've fallen into this, you know, that's all they're about. So, you know, keep your eyes open. There's nothing you did particularly wrong.
Right, yeah.
That's what
I was about to say. There's nothing you can do. It's not you.
Exactly. It's not you. It's just, you know, and you could be twice the man that he is. Right. But he's paying. And, you know, don't be a customer. It's better to walk away with your dignity.
Right. And look, man, especially for those guys that live out in places that are not the Miami, LA, New York City, big, you know, Austin, things like that, man, you have a really good shot at finding a good woman. All this shit on the internet, you know, you see a lot of these podcasts where all you see is these really, really, really trash girls. Those trash girls are in very, very crowded demographic cities that those type of girls are in. I think the average girl across America and probably Eastern Europe is really good-hearted in a way. Now, there's still female nature that you have to overcome, and you still need to be that guy. But the girl that would pass on a good man for $10,000, that's just her. And I think those girls are mostly in the bigger cities, like Dubai.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
and I know I'm the kind of guy that I don't like this doom and gloom, sad version of reality where all women are garbage. Because I know some wonderful women, and I've met some wonderful women in my lifetime. And really
wonderful women in my life. Bro.
Absolutely. And the thing is, you know, a lot of the guys who are out there screaming that the fact that good women don't exist, as I said, they don't exist for them. And if they don't exist for you, become the guy they exist for. Keep climbing that ladder and you'll find one. I absolutely promise you. They're out there.
And that's wonderful. I tell you what, that's probably a good place to wrap. I do want to go over a little bit of what we're going to be doing in Colombia, man, because I think we can really, really help some guys out there. It's going to be one of the best events that we've done. It's going to be sartorial that you see.
Yep.
There's a very, very strong likelihood that Andrew will be there.
Yep.
Sterling Cooper is going to be doing a master sex class. If anybody likes Sterling Cooper and knows what Sterling does in his day job, it's not bag groceries. I'll be there helping with Instagram game. You'll be helping with Instagram
100%.
game, setting up frame and the rotation game. Is something that you're a professional at.
I mean, it's going to be the kind of stuff. Ever since I ran the Players Year some years ago and got outed for that, if anybody remembers that, it's going to be the most in-depth look into my exact life and my setup and my women and how I run things that anyone's ever going to get.
Right.
It's going to be real live in person. You're going to see me texting my main chicks, my side girls, keeping them happy. They're not obviously going to be in Colombia, but you're going to see me find a bunch more as well and see how we manage that situation. And, everything I know about how to attract women and how to be the man that women like, I'm going to pass on. I'm going to try and teach to everybody else. So.
And then how to lock them in. Like, it's not just about, it's not just about sleeping with women all the time. It is okay to actually care for a woman, but you do need to know how to operate the situation at said time. Once you're able to identify it is the right girl, I think it's important. And one of the things that Sterling and I are going to cover, and if Andrew's there, he'll step into it a lot, because that's what we used him for a lot in Miami is what we call soul locking, where a woman just genuinely, with all her heart, loves you, and she's loyal, no matter whether you're on a rodeo or not.
And there's no feeling like it.
Yeah.
There's no trash hoe, no matter how hot you can have sex with, and get the same level of satisfaction that when you wake up next to that girl who maybe she's an 8, maybe she's not a 10, or maybe she's a 9, maybe she's a 7 for you guys out there, maybe she's a 4. But that feeling you'll get when she wakes you up in the morning, says, "Here's your cup of coffee. I know you didn't sleep well last night. Here, try and have a great day, have a productive day at work. I love you. I miss you." That is so much better. A life without that would be an empty, vacuous existence, and I wouldn't want to live it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Man, I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah.
I feel like we cleared up a lot of things
I hope so.
that some guys wanted to hear. You're getting to see not only the truth about how things are done, but top level how it's done, how everybody's happy, how we have a great life. And honestly, we all have a great family life together or with your main girl, whatever it is, and how it all mixes together, man. I couldn't be happier. I'm happy, just as happy off this camera, off of Instagram, on the couch with you downstairs, like we're about to go watch war documentaries.
Light us some cigars, maybe have a whiskey.
Than anything else in this world, man. And I think having a good woman in your life is a huge part of that. So understanding how to operate and set the whole thing up, the whole system, everything, and do it smoothly, do it like a gentleman, something that you can be proud of, is something really important. And I think we got a lot of those things out in the open tonight, man. So let's go watch war movies.
Thank you for watching.
All right, guys. Later.